we will have the chance to listen first of all to representatives of industry and then 4 people from the battery sector. Please, Atılay. As I told you, we have shared the moderation. We will start with Pasquale.
I'm in the first seat, in the last.
Yes.
So you're in the last, I'm in the first. Let's see.
Please.
Okay. So just let me a few remarks before starting this session. And first of all, in the first panel, in the first speech that we had today, I heard a lot speaking about producing green energy, about consumption, about prices. But I mean, one of the key items which is still missing in this discussion is transmission and distributing energy. Because our view and my personal view is that we have to encourage the increasing green energy production, but this is a dual track. I mean, connection capacity and grid reinforcement is truly the key point actually in Romania. But not only in Romania. Most of the things that I heard today, we already experienced in Italy, where we have a strong production of renewable energy from several sources, from solar to wind, hydro, and so on. So how do we prioritize reinforcement? Where is the storage and demand side of the flexibility needed? Because one risk is that if we have, as we experienced in the past years, a renewables boom, let's say, I mean, probably this won't happen because we don't have the same incentives that we got in the past years. But a problem should be also the grid bottleneck that could happen in Romania. And Gabriel, according to me, this should be a point that maybe in the further discussion that we will have should be prioritized. Maybe with the presence of the stakeholders like Transelettrica or somebody, because at the last conference that we had last year, as you remember, a huge plan of investment was launched in Romania. Actually, based on my knowledge, that plan is still not finalized, but finalized is an optimistic vision. So,
if you are talking about the Transelettrica's plan, they are working on it, and it's a multi-year plan for investment. Yes, everybody wish to be a little bit faster than it is. Yeah.
Yes, and regarding the insurance that we were discussing before, please note that, for example, in Italy, we also have the insurance of, which is mandatory based on the law for the disposal of the solar panels in the end life. It has to be submitted before issuing the final authorization. Otherwise, you're not authorized, because you cannot risk that a company goes into insolvency and an area is occupied by panels without any kind of management. So somebody has to make a disposal of that plant, and it is obligatory and mandatory based on the law to introduce that.
Thank you.
So just a few remarks that I had here and I wanted to share with you. So our first panel starts with industries and 2 key actors in Romania in different sectors, but met and meet important needs on the market. We have Federico Cianciosi, who is CEO of Prysmian Romania. And Prysmian is at the very heart of the energy transition value chain. I mean, you produce cables, basically, okay? And my concern is, how is Prysmian adapting its product portfolio and technology development to support this transition, particularly through digitalization. I know that you had also implemented a very interesting project as the digitalization of the rural areas in Romania with the smart grids and so on. And how do you combine the need of put on the market a sustainable and technologized project and cables with the need of producing more energy.
Thank you first of all for the invitation, and also good afternoon, everybody. Coming to the point, now we are discussing of the energy transition and digital transformation. It's not something that is new, but is important for me to highlight which are the main difference that we have now respect the past. One is that is the speed with we are moving on this direction respect some years ago. The speed, the push mainly from the market, the demand, but also the other point, one of the other point is the aspect of the sustainability. That before probably it was not as it is now 10, 20 years ago. These are two of the several, let's say, regions for which now we see this increase of speed in this transformation. Just a few numbers, as you can see there. This is the forecast 2030 respect 2020. So already we are in the middle of the journey somehow, no? And you can see, for example, the renewable energy generation. In 10 years should be 4 times 2030 respect 2020. Is sure a huge important impact. The electrical application grow 1.5 times more due to the electricity consumption increase worldwide. Power grid, 2 times. 2 times more in 10 years is not sure a negligible number. The last but not the least is the digital transformation, as you can see here, that in some cases is very close to the energy transition. They are going in parallel. In some cases, they really are together. So these are a few numbers to explain why we have this acceleration on this direction. Here I want to share some example in Prysmian. Prysmian, we are an electric energy cable producer, but we are also a telecom cable producer, no? And we have different applications where both are together. For example, in the submarine cable, in the monitoring of the submarine cable, where we have the energy cable and optical fiber cable. In the digitalization of the power grid, say for still also there for the monitoring, but also one on with the point that is probably is not yet enough discussed, but we believe that in the next future will be interesting point is the future of the mobility. No, from the technical point of view, in terms of let's say autonomous mobility, we are not too far. We are still probably far in terms of infrastructure there, from also from the legislation point of view, but this will be something that probably in 5-10 years, as now we are talking about digitalization, energy transition, we speak about the automotive mobility. And then the last, the data center and the energy consumption in the data center. In Europe, we start to see that the things are moving on this direction, but sure, if we compare Europe with North America, there are big differences. Just to explain to you, in North America, the data center is really booming, with a growth 40-50% year by year. In Europe, we are not there. We hope that to be there soon. The main player, the normal player, well known by all. So Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google. And this is a part where we see that another region of this increase and boom that we are seeing. I have the last point to how Prysmian also is trying to move from a cables producer to a service provider. No? This is not something that starts now, it's something that is there by year, but also we need to adapt according to the new request. No? So this, for example, when we talk about sustainability, is for the high voltage project where we use, we're able to supply the fully recyclable cable. The P-laser is a Prysmian technology with 100% recyclable cable. The other are, from the technical point of view, sure, the R&D, there are several projects. Here I would like to report, for example, the cable for submarine cable till 3,000 meters under the sea for the installation of the cable this deep. Also, Prysmian is a key turn provider of, wind farm, also full project, a submarine full project from the engineering to the final stage. And this is one of the reasons why has been invested in the last 6 years, 2 billion euro, in order to increase our capacity, production capacity, but also to improve our fleet with the vessel that we have 6 vessels now at the moment, 3 of them, 2 already active, 1 is under construction. And then I will leave to the speech to Vard, because some of this vessel has been produced by Vard Fincantieri. And I think the last point is that what I share now, no? Cable, energy cable, telecom cable, vessel, is not something far from Romania. It's something that is really here in Romania. Romania is a big player of this. Why? Because we produce this cable in Romania, energy cable. We have the biggest plant for telecom cable in Romania, and the vessel, some of the vessels are produced with Fincantieri Vard in Romania.
That's a great honor as Vice President of the Italian Chamber of Commerce to hear this, Federico, because actually both of your company are sitting in the board of the Italian Chamber of Commerce, and this is an Italian excellence of know-how exported in Romania since a lot of years, because incidentally, as Federico said before, then we will turn back on the item, one of the most visible examples of this innovation ecosystem and also of this switch of the role of Prysmian from a provider of cables to provider of service within a major framework, industrial framework, is the fact that the cable lying vessel has been built by Vard Shipyards, Fincantieri company in Romania, I think in Tulcea, part of it, Claudio. Taboga, which is the general manager of Vard Shipyards Romania, and which stands, according to us, as a symbol of how industrial and energy transition can touch several areas, no? And it is not only strictly connected to solar, wind, which is important, but also affairs to the industrial sector. And Claudio, picking up the example that Federico made before, shipbuilding can be a driver in energy transition. But please, before making your speech, I would like to send a very interesting movie regarding the shipyards, which name is Mona Lisa. Thank you so much. So I still recall the question that I made you before. Can we ship a driver for energy transition?
I will use, yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, first of all. Yeah, every time I see these movies here with the vessels that are coming out from our yards, I feel an emotion. You must think that behind these vessels, actually, there are millions of hours of people working, and there are a lot of stories behind of people, families, and also events that we have in a yard with the customers, and it's behind every vessel that we deliver, then there is a story. And of course, behind also Mona Lisa was a long story. But don't worry, I will not explain you all this afternoon, so we'll use this time that is quite limited to talk about what Pasquale just mentioned. Yeah, summarizing, I will say yes at the beginning. Mona Lisa is representing these vessels that you can see here. Can I also name the last one that we just, that is working, it's a work in progress in Tulcea now. We launched the first part, it will be outfitted then in Norway, and it's Alessandro Volta. So also these names are representing really, let's say, the connection to the Italian pride, and it's really interesting. So I see in these vessels the convergence between the energy and the maritime technology. Here we have a mix of, let's say, digitalization, green approach, energy savings, and whatever. Digitalization, I heard also before in different sessions was mentioned. And of course, it's something time ago, it was somebody was saying that this is the oil, the new oil, and so on. Actually, it's a new oil in the sense that it's more or less everywhere. And this is the oil that is lubricating all our mechanism to make it happen. I will tell you a little bit more about this. This is a period in which we are developing very complex ships in Vard shipyard, Romania. We are located in Brăila and in Tulcea, and especially with Prysmian, not only with Prysmian, we have a lot of these complex vessels in our portfolio. I don't know if this data is correct. Federico, you will help me. But I understood that when we set up a wind power new area offshore wind power, more or less 40% of the cost is in the connection and the grid. It could be. It's true, more or less. So when we talk about cables, I don't know if you are experts, but I wanted to read about it. We don't talk about the cables we have at home. No, we are talking about very complicated cables. That means that when we have to lay down these cables, we must be extremely precise and very, very, very careful. And the process is really one of the most complicated that we have when we work in this kind of civil constructions. Also, let's say, you can imagine the conditions. So it means that shipbuilding, in this case, is a kind of enabler. We are enabling the energy transition, and we are very proud of that. Mixing what I was telling before. I have to say honestly that when I talk to the people around, they still see the yards like a very conservative and conservative place where there are some welders that are welding and cutting some steel plates. Well, I have to disappoint you. It's not anymore like that. Of course, there are a lot of them. But it's a changing world, and this is, of course, if you want to be in line with the changing world, also the yards needs to completely change the approach. So we are talking about the product, Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, for instance, is using some so-called dynamic positioning system, which are connected to the GPS, so that they can stay. You will teach me. That they can stay localized in the place where the cable have to be laid down. They utilize hybrid systems. So for energy saving, they are methanol ready. They have a lot of technologies which sometimes are not, let's say, so, immediately visible on the vessel itself. But behind that, on the hull, I can assure you there is a very complex technology that was not, was not developed in the time, but that had a big acceleration during this last period. So I was talking about the yards and how they are enabling. Between product and production, today there is always, let's say, narrower and narrower distinction, in the sense that production, so I'm talking about the yard in this case, cannot be something that is completely manual and then we produce a vessel like that, okay? So we have to, first of all, of course, in the yards, we are selfish because we have to save money, but that is also because of the green approach. We have all the systems which are making our operation efficient. I give you an example. We are talking, of course, the usual stuff regarding the savings in electrical energy is there, but also the systems based on digital planning to save the steel plates. The steel plates need to be, anyway, to be consumed. The steel plate need to be heated. The yards were consuming in the past, still today, a lot of energy. But moreover, we need, when we produce a ship like that, a very, very structured tracking of the materials and a lot of data that luckily now we are able to record. And then this can be, of course, shared in the complete chain so that for whatever happens, maintenance, improvements, future learnings, and so on. Of course, the challenge of the moment, it was already a challenge in the past, but I think in the yards it's still there, honestly, is that we have a big amount of data now. And we have to be able to process those ones so that we are going in the right direction. Then talking, generally speaking, about the energy transition and the yards in Romania. Your question was mostly for the Vard yards. I see a role that is changing in supporting this transition now. Because honestly, in the past, the yards in Romania were seeing like, okay, I can tell you very straightforward, we're seeing a place where we could build with lower cost compared to somewhere else. It's not anymore like this. We have the expertise that we have in Romania is really amazing. And moreover, most of the engineering, also for this kind of vessels, are a cooperation between Romania, Italy, and Norway. And main engineering, the biggest engineering part is made here in Romania. So, going back to your question, I think I convinced everybody. Somebody is not convinced. Maybe we can have a separate chat. But I think absolutely yes.
Claudio, just one point, because you're right, and now I forgot to say, we speak a lot about sustainability, no? But sometimes we risk to forget another point, the security in the yard, in the cable that we produce, and mainly in the application of the cable that we produce, no? Not for all, probably, this is a priority. For Vard, Fincantieri, it is. For Prysmian, it is. But I think this is an important point where we need to focus, because it should be for all.
Don't tell to Vincenzo, otherwise he will come back now to the discussion. And I also know, Gabriel, that Fincantieri is in Italy and all over is starting also project of searching regarding the hydrogen ships, on which is investing hundreds of millions of euro in search. I heard this in a recent conference. Now, switching the point, I would like to recall an item which we discussed before for the batteries, okay? So we have Marco Falorni, which is the sales director of WeCo Batteries, which is a company that produces in Italy and that's also a plant in China, and is a pioneer in the battery energy storage. And I would like to ask Marco, what have been the main lessons or adoption in your approach when entering into the Romanian market, whether regulatory, technical, and partnership related?
Okay, thank you for the introduction. WeCo is an Italian company with factories in Italy and China manufacturing batteries. So to answer to your question, of course, the Romanian market has a very fast growing market in the sector of the renewable energy. Renewable energy production is very significant in Romania, and this is posing some challenges to the market that we are facing, we are seeing. So unlike any other market in Europe, the integration of batteries is starting and it's growing very fast. So we have been studying the peculiarities of the market. So in terms of market structure, I see three main lines in the market. First one is grid scale, utility scale battery storage applications, where we are seeing a rapid transition from a pilot scale installations in Romania to gigawatt-hour scale storage systems. And this is a process that is underway, and we project in 2026 to have already a few gigawatt-hour of storage installed in Romania. And we are also part of this process. We have local partners that assist us in the developing of this kind of market. So the approach of WeCo is to be partners, to have partners in the local market in different sectors, and maybe we can talk about that later. The second line of development in the Romanian market is the behind-the-meter sector, what we call also CNI sector. In this field, we have a range of products that can accompany the development of industrial users, large commercial centers, and large users that need to adapt to the volatile energy market. So to be able to get the maximum opportunities from a very difficult market, such as we see here in Romania. The product that we have been proposing to the market is a modular product. So it's something that is well adapted to many different kind of situations, for starting from quite small installations. So we talk about less than 1 megawatt hour of storage, up to several and dozens of megawatt hour of storage for industrial customers. And the third line of development for the Romanian market, which is also becoming more and more clear, is the ancillary services, which is becoming an important trend across all of Europe and also here in Romania. So with the markets tools that we will get in the near future, it will be possible to use these storage systems not only to do time of use or peak shaving strategies, but it's also possible to use the storage as a service for the market. So to provide services like FCR, AFRR, MFRR, which are being introduced in the market, and that they will have the possibility to stack on top of the other markets to provide more and more revenues from the battery and the energy storage system, and to reduce significantly the return of investments.
Thanks so much, Marco. And this is a very interesting point because, producing, distributing, consuming, and storing. There are several activities which, on a regulatory point of view, must be also further regulated. Gabi, I leave you the floor.
I think that first part of this panel, we had the energy transition concept taking a very literal turn, because we talked about manufacturing cables for energy transmission, about ships laying the cables, about battery systems, storing the electricity for some time and then make it available for various uses in the industry. We will keep on this line because most of the speakers to follow will also talk about battery storage. And now I'll move to Atılay Koyaş, Business Development and Sales Director, BESS with EEO. Please, a couple of words about using battery energy storage systems for making the best of the power we generate in Romania or elsewhere in the world. And I think this is most important coming from you, the fact that you are at the same time in the operational part of building, manufacturing batteries, and also as an EPC company. So please.
Thank you. My name is Atılay Koyaş. I'm Business Development and Sales Director of YEO, which is a Turkish company. We are in the renewable energy sector for more than 20 years. Basically an EPC company building solar plants, wind plants, high voltage substations, transmission lines. And now we entered into BESS production as well. We have completed a factory in Istanbul. Will be operation in 2 months' time with 5 gigawatt-hour per year capacity. So why BESS, first of all? We had conventional grids, conventional generation in the old times, but even in that time we needed energy storage because on one side we have supply, on the other side we have demand, and we have standard supply. It was not increasing, decreasing. There were no renewable energy in the grids. So with the involvement of renewable energy, the grid became more bidirectional. So we needed energy storage systems to balance the grids. And why battery? We have also other energy storage systems, but why battery? Because batteries are the most economical solutions now for the energy storage. And the fastest response with the optimum usage in the grids. So you can install batteries in, with the generation, with the transmission, with the distribution, so anywhere. The importance is this: you have some different segments in the BESS ecosystem where you have DC components, you have AC components. You have operation and maintenance. So it is important to, first of all, to have the tier 1 technology on the equipment side. But you have also need to integrate the technology to the grid where EMS is very important, where SCADA is very important, and automation of the plant is very important. So as you we are not only a manufacturer, but also an EPC company, and on the operation side, we give services to optimize this technology. The main important thing in BESS is you have to design according to the project needs. So some projects, you just use as peak shaving or load shifting, but in some other projects you also give frequency services. You can use with wind power plants, solar power plants, or you can make standalone battery systems. Like we are now executing a project in Azerbaijan with 500 megawatt hour of capacity connected at 400 kV level. It's a standalone project. So the main purpose of the project is to balance the grid because they are increasing the capacity of renewables in the grid. So they need to balance it, and they need to have a stable grid system there. So they decided to invest in 500 megawatt hour of BESS storage there. In Romania, we are not on EPC. By the way, we are also making project development. We have like 900 megawatt of project portfolio, half of them in execution stage, half of them in development stage. we are also installing 10 megawatt hour BESS in our own plants here, solar plants. So we want to contribute to the balance of the grid as well. So in summary, I can say that BESS is a trending topic. First of all, together with the AI and data storage. I want to remind that I was in USA 2 months ago. We were discussing with the American companies there, and they were informing me that they needed energy storage in 3 years, 5 gigawatt hours. One company, the other one, informed us that they will build 3 gigawatt hour in 2 years' time. So they are talking in gigawatts because they are installing more, they are creating more AI, they are installing more data centers, and they need more consumption and more balance. So energy storage is needed not only in Romania, in almost every part of the world. And the main solution to the imbalance in the grid is the batteries, where they are the most economic solution.
Atılay, are there any particular lessons that you learned as an EPC company that you translated into the process of designing and manufacturing BESS?
Yeah, the thing is, we face with standard RFQs first of all, where the investors are not giving too much importance about the usage of each and every component, about certification, about the optimization of the project. But we advise to the investors that you need to design first according to the requirements exactly. So you need to optimize the capacity first, because in some projects we see that, okay, we want 100 megawatt hour capacity, but it should be optimized where you need also to include the degradation, for example, at 5 years, after 5 years time or 10 years time, which capacity you require to be there exactly at the connection point. Also, the functions of the PCS, for example, should be chosen according to the exact needs of the project. So when we receive the requirement from the investors, we discuss with them, maybe we give some ideas, we optimize the design, and we build on what we have agreed with them.
Thank you. Another hint to an idea that was expressed earlier by Federico, not so much about the product, but about the service. This transition seems to be happening in all industries, in all sectors. Thank you. I will now give the floor to Nicușor Răducan, Customer Success Manager, Romania and Hungary, GoodWe. I don't know if I should speak in Romanian or in English now. Okay, as you prefer. Please, I think that you also have some slides. They will be ready. They are already there. I will give you the presenter. So, Nicușor, please.
Bună ziua! În primul rând aș vrea să vă mulțumesc pentru invitație. Numele meu este Nicușor. Sunt reprezentant GoodWe de anul trecut în România. Pot să spun că suntem prezenți destul de frecvent la toate evenimentele și încercăm să onorăm toate invitațiile, inclusiv aceasta. Pentru noi este o deosebită plăcere să fi fost invitați, să participăm. Cine este GoodWe sau ce este GoodWe? Este un producător cu experiență de peste 15 ani în industria fotovoltaică, producător Tier 1. Aș putea să-l numesc și cu siguranță se încadrează în top 5 producători mondial de produse fotovoltaice, invertoare, baterii. Noi aici în România suntem prezenți, așa cum am spus de anul trecut, cu tot ce înseamnă echipă completă, partea de vânzări, partea de asistență tehnică, partea de marketing. Deja avem contractele semnate. Suntem bucuroși că am instalat peste 60 de megawatts în sectorul rezidențial anul acesta. Este o creștere de 1600% pentru noi, ceva ce nu ne așteptam. Și atunci, clar, pornind de la această idee, putem spune, sau putem confirma noi, ca producători, că deja industria fotovoltaică în România a ajuns la maturitate. Desigur, nu ne vom opri aici. Suntem deschiși și pentru sectorul rezidențial, dar și în continuare, dar și pentru sectorul comercial și utility. De aceea o să trec un pic în revistă portofoliul GoodWe. Desigur, el este prea vast, dar noi, ca și echipă locală, am ales produsele cel mai potrivite pentru piața din România și aș începe cu produsul pe care eu mizez foarte mult anul acesta, produsul de nișă, să zic așa, că din punctul meu de vedere această industrie n-a fost foarte exploatată, soluție de microstocare pentru apartamente. Și anume, acest all-in-one ESA Balcony este un invertor all-in-one cu stocare de până la 10 kW pe care îl putem instala la exterior în balcon, cu sistem de preîncălzire, deci poate funcționa până la minus 20 de grade fără probleme și cu protecție anti-incendiu. Din punctul meu de vedere, ca și o paranteză, bateriile litiu-fosfat oricum sunt cele mai sigure baterii din industrie, nu explodează, nu ia foc, dar ca și, din punctul meu de vedere, un invertor, o stație fotovoltaică instalată într-un sectorul rezidențial nu este mai periculoasă decât o instalație de gaz. Aici, desigur, este asta discuție, s-a discutat mai devreme, felul cum se instalează, felul cum, dacă există, sau din punctul meu de vedere ar trebui să existe cineva care să verifice aceste instalări, pentru că noi, ca și producători, putem spune că încercăm să producem cele mai bune produse. Dar contează foarte mult și felul cum se instalează. Contează foarte mult mentalitatea instalatorului și aici cred că trebuie să lucrăm un pic și noi ca producători facem traininguri frecvente. Anul acesta am efectuat peste 35 de traininguri naționale în vederea îmbunătățirii părții de instalare și calității instalării. Și aș merge mai departe pe partea de rezidențial monofazat. Avem un monofazat ESG2 între 3 și 6 kW, monofazat microgrid între 6 și 12 kW. Tendința pieței fotovoltaice în rezidențial, sistemul all-in-one monofazat între 3 și 10 kW cu stocare de până la 48 de kW. Iar pe partea de trifazat avem trifazatul ETG2 și ET2030. Ce înseamnă asta? Tot ce v-am prezentat acum sunt sisteme hibride și pot să spun că anul acesta am implementat și sisteme retrofit. Ce înseamnă asta? Cu produsele pe care le aveți în față am integrat stocări în planturile deja existente în grid, unde, după cum știm, prin AFM sau prin proiectele locale nu s-au putut dezinstala cele invertoare on grid și atunci a trebuit noi, ca și producători, să venim cu o soluție și, practic, să zic așa, 30% din instalările pe care noi le-am asistat anul acesta au fost pe sectorul de retrofit, adică integrarea stocării în planturile on-grid existente și asta e destul de bine. Asta ne ajută pe noi producătorii atunci când există competiție și, după cum vedem, în România sunt cei mai importanți jucători în industria fotovoltaică și asta e clar un semnal de alarmă sau o confirmare, dacă vreți, că este o piață destul de mare și în sectorul CNI suntem pregătiți. Pe partea de invertoare on-grid avem invertoare de la 25 la 150 de kW, vorbim pe joasă tensiune. Pe partea de hibride avem invertoare de la 20 până la 100. Toate invertoarele noastre hibride se pot implanta AC couple sau retrofit, adică putem veni cu soluții de stocare inclusiv în planturile CNI. Pentru planturile CNI avem cabinete dedicate de exterior, linci de 60 de kWh. Este un cabinet cu aer condiționat, este pretabil la exterior, funcționează până la minus 20 de grade. O inovație pe sectorul rezidențial de baterii high voltage Links-D și aș spune că cred că suntem singurii din industrie care avem o baterie high voltage cu totul incorporat, adică power module, inverter DC-DC și practic nu ai nevoie de niciun alt accesoriu pentru a conecta o baterie high voltage. efectiv cum achiziționezi un modul de baterie și funcționează cu invertorul direct, fără a avea nevoie de alte accesorii, așa cum am menționat. Cabinete de interior, 101-156. Cu acest cabinet putem crea planturi de stocare de până la 4,85 de megawatts. Cabinetul de exterior IP65 BAT 112, este un cabinet de stocare cu descărcare 1C, cu care putem crea planturi de până la 4,5 megawatts. Iar vedeta noastră pe partea de CNI este bateria SA 125-261, înseamnă că este o baterie AC couple și am înțeles nevoia din piață și anume dacă există planturi unde on grid, unde avem nevoie de stocare și nu dorim să integrăm un sistem retrofit, venim cu această soluție de stocare. Este o baterie cu un PCU încorporat și efectiv se poate instala în orice sistem de producție energetică, inclusiv în producție de energie eoliană, de ce nu, în producție de energie hidro. Există multiple de scenarii în care această baterie se poate integra și cu această baterie putem crea planturi de până la 10 MW stocare. Descrierea despre baterii, nu știu în ce măsură vă interesează, dar e bine să prezentăm produsul așa cum trebuie și anume vorbim de o baterie premium, vorbim de o baterie de exterior cu indice de descărcare 1C, cu 10 ani garanție, 6.000 de cicluri declarate, vorbim de o răcire prin aer condiționat, invertorul poate fi integrat la interior, în cabinetul bateriei și atunci ne ajută și pe perioada verii ca să menținem temperatura constantă și pe invertor. Avem o protecție anti-incendiu cu aerosol, iar bateria AC couple de 261, ce înseamnă 125, ce înseamnă că avem un PCU cu o putere de descărcare de 125 de kWh și cu o stocare de 261. Așa cum am spus, cu această baterie putem crea planturi de până la 10 MW. Vorbim de o baterie de ultimă generație, vorbim de o baterie cu răcire internă pe lichid, special pentru fiecare pachet de celule, vorbim de o baterie cu protecție anti-incendiu cu aerosol și vorbim de ultimul normativ la nivel european de protecție anti-incendiu pentru cabinete, vorbim de inundare a bateriei în caz de accident sau incident. Adică, practic, ca și ultimă măsură de siguranță, dacă conectăm un hidrant în spatele bateriei, cabinetul va fi inundat pentru a nu fi nevoie pentru a-l desface. După cum știm, în caz de accident, litiu fosfat nu arde, dar emite o anumită substanță, anumit fum și atunci, ca să nu intervenim asupra cabinetului, bateria va fi inundată și se va evita orice fel de incident posibil. GoodWe la momentul ăsta oferă soluții la cheie și pe medie tensiune, cu tot ce înseamnă transformatori de medie și de înaltă tensiune, invertoare pe medie și înaltă tensiune. La noi veniți doar cu proiectul și noi vi-l dăm la gata. Deja avem cereri la momentul ăsta pentru prima parte a anului viitor de peste 200 de MW integrare cu acest container pe medie tensiune de 5 MW. Nu există o limită la acest container, adică putem crește stocarea fără o limită pe partea de monitorizare. Inginerii noștri, fiind în număr de peste 1000, se ocupă de această integrare și într-un IMS third party, dacă doriți, soluții de monitorizare externă. Câteva proiecte implementate. Desigur, sunt destul de multe și n-aș vrea să rețin foarte mult. Cam asta a fost.
Mulțumesc Nicușor și felicitări pentru reușite la mai mare. E nevoie de toate eforturile din partea tuturor. Mă îndrept acum către Cosmin Cheran, CEO Think Blue Solution. Cred că voi sunteți mai degrabă în zona de utility scale
Așa este partea de dezvoltare de utility, dar aș vrea să încep cu o întrebare pusă de tine mai devreme și cred că ai rămas puțin nelămurit.
Te rog, am și uitat, dar...
Ce se întâmplă de la 1 ianuarie cu ATR-urile?
Okay.
O să vă spunem, o să sumarizez puțin ceea ce feedback-ul pe care le avem noi de la fiecare operator în parte cu care lucrăm și de asemenea și de la Transelectrica, deoarece facem foarte multe studii de soluție în ultima vreme și lucrurile stau în felul următor. Se vehiculează în spațiu public și cred că așa o să fie. Acest 1 ianuarie se va prelungi până la 31 martie și asta este și feedback-ul nostru. În ceea ce privește cererile depuse până la 31 decembrie, dacă până la 31 decembrie nu ai contract de soluție semnat și cred că încă nu e clar dacă și plătită factura pentru contractul de soluție, ți se va anula automat. Deci dacă n-ai făcut acești pași până la momentul de 31 decembrie, nu mai intri în discuție, intri pe noua reglementare.
Și dispar din listă,
eliberezi. Dispar din listă, eliberezi. Ceea ce mai doresc, într-adevăr și noi facem presiuni cei care suntem în această piață de elaborare de studii de soluție, pentru că și noi la rândul nostru avem presiuni din partea clienților, investitorilor care spun că de ce nu pot să mă conectez acolo, că cum nu e nimic și toate sunt pe hârtiuță. Încercăm să primim din partea și să facem push-up către operatorii de distribuție, să primim niște liste actualizate cu vechile ATR-uri, să zic așa, emise, pentru că noi, cei care elaborăm aceste studii de soluție, nu știm dacă au trecut în faza următoare. Ok, le vedem ca niște ATR-uri emise, nu mai sunt în valabilitate, dar nu știm, pentru că nu îi se dau aceste lucruri, dacă au trecut la faza de contract de racordare.
Ok, am crezut că doar eu nu înțeleg Excel-urile alea.
Da.
Deci trebuie mai multă claritate din partea
asta e excepțională. Adică, dacă doriți, vedem un exemplu, no? Vedem o lecție, no? Că am făcut noi în Italia ca legislator, no? In Italia. In 2010, I switch in English, we had the law because there were certain incentives and you should have completed the plant within 31 December 2009, okay? So what happened? The term was too much strict and the instructions were not clear, no, for the operators. So the legislator said, okay, let's do this. You have to complete the plant within 31 December 2009, but you have to connect to the grid within 30 June 2010, okay? And you have 6 months of grazia, let's say in Latin, in order to connect the plant after that you have built it. And I remember a friend of mine working to the regulatory body in Italy. In order to prove that the plant was connected and built to the grid, he had pictures in JPG, I mean from the PC, without making, because there were thousands and thousands of plants to verify, and a lot of incentives were revocated. So this could be a scenario.
Bad. No. Okay. Please, Cosmin.
Deci cam așa stă situația astăzi cu privire la aceste ATR-uri care ne mănâncă sufletul în ultima vreme. Ce aș vrea să mai expun foarte mult. Piața de baterii, de dezvoltare de baterii astăzi, de storage, când ne gândim la baterii mari conectate în 110, 220, 400 kV, încep să apară cu întăriri, deci încep proiectele să nu mai fie fezabile, adică putem să vă spunem clar, cine dorește astăzi să mai investească, să ia de la zero un proiect mare vorbesc peste 50 de MW sau 50 în jurul valorii de 50, nu prea mai e fezabil din punctul nostru de vedere. Iar lumea acum se repoziționează, să spun așa, pe proiectele mici, sub 5 MW, care nu avem nevoie de licitații, nu avem nevoie, o să stăm la ideea aceea de 4,9, 4,8 MW injecție și probabil și acest model de business, de dezvoltare care urmăresc anumiți jucători din piață, o să mai fie valabil din punctul nostru de vedere maxim un an de zile.
Din punct de vedere al meu ca observator, nu știu dacă și din partea Transelectric, asta e oarece problemă, nu? Pentru că însumate vor fi capacități mari despre care nu vom ști neapărat înainte ca ele să se manifeste în piață.
Adevărat. Din păcate, aș vrea să mai dau câteva lucruri din casă. Trebuie să înțelegem că, ok, ANR-ul așteaptă după calculele transelectrice și de aceea vine și această amânare. Din păcate, furnizorul de servicii care a fost însărcinat să facă aceste calcule a primit și el la rândul lui această comandă tot din cauza achiziții publice ping-pongul ăsta.
Știi tu că s-a întâmplat deja?
Da. Asta s-a întâmplat.
Okay, a fost ales. Din păcate, nu are cum să performeze și să vadă că el asta își dorește toată lumea. Ok, vreau să intru în stația, dăm un exemplu, Tulcea, Vest, da? Și vreau să-mi spui acolo câți megavați. Ok, eu am bani, eu licitez, ok. Încă nu știm acest lucru și cu toții îl așteptăm și noi. Cu intervenția ta am intrat deja în zona de dialog, dar zi-ne de rog 2 fraze despre statusul proiectelor voastre acum, cum vezi anul viitor.
Noi avem astăzi, unul singur mai este într-o suspensie, ultima avizare cu Transelectrica, suntem la 1,2 gigavați la ready to build, pot să spun, toate autorizațiile de construire în momentul de față. Ce aș vrea să punctez acolo este foarte dificil pentru că noi ne dorim să luăm o finanțare. Este foarte dificil astăzi să primești o finanțare pentru proiecte, să zic așa, să le spar, că sunt 4 la număr, undeva la 50 de megavați. Acolo ne chinuim pentru că vrem să rămânem parteneri, nu vrem neapărat să le vindem, deși avem oferte să le vindem la Ready to Build, să vindem aceste proiecte. Tindem foarte mult pe partea asta de a rămâne în parteneriat și de a construi aceste proiecte. Acolo suntem noi astăzi poziționați.
Mult succes! E probabil una dintre temele importante pentru anul viitor, această consolidare intensivă a pieței de baterii și regenerabile. O să vorbim mult despre ea. Îi dau cuvântul acum lui Adrian Luca, director Vânzări Industrie Elgeka Ferfelis România. Ți-am amintit numele și unul dintre produse mai devreme. Adrian, te rog.
Da, mulțumesc și mă bucur că sunt aici. Astăzi probabil veți vedea că vom vorbi despre ultimele noutăți dezvoltate de Shell, mai ales în domeniul energetic, cu niște inovații care vor determina schimbări ale modului în care privim tehnologia și sinergia dintre domeniul energetic și domeniul petrolier. Despre Shell, deja se știe, este numărul 1 ca furnizor mondial de lubrifianți pentru al 18-lea an consecutiv. Azi dimineața am aflat vestea că este pentru al 19-lea an consecutiv, deci am rămas în urmă cu prezentarea. Cota de piață este undeva de 13,8% la nivel mondial. Iar în România, cu parteneriate noastre globale transferate la industria românească, împreună cu Nuclear Electrica, cu SGB, Smith, cu Dacia, cu Daimler, suntem pentru al 6-lea an în top 3 furnizori sau supplier de ulei Shell în Europa, cu industria din România. Vorbim astăzi despre Shell deoarece această companie a dezvoltat în anii 70 o tehnologie care permite extragerea de produse petroliere din gaz natural. Procesul prescurtat se numește GTL, Gas to Liquid, și se desfășoară în mare parte în rafineria Pearl din Qatar, ca site principal de producție din anul 2015. Uleiul de bază obținut din gaz natural are proprietăți superioare oricărui produs provenit din petrol, datorită purității deosebite și a lipsei sulfului din formulare. Aceasta permite, de exemplu, ca temperatura de autoaprindere a acestui ulei să crească de la 130 la 190 de grade fără aditivare. Din 2016, uleiurile pe bază de GTL, adică Gas to Liquid Technology, au fost incluse în portofoliul Shell, în special în sectorul de power, despre care vom vorbi astăzi cu 3 aplicații diferite, dar și ca process oil și motor oils. Un fapt divers, Dacia de circa 6 ani toate automobilele pleacă cu prima umplere ulei Shell bazat pe GTL. Datorită acestei conferințe, primul ulei despre care vom vorbi este uleiul de transformator și avem și un mic filmuleț.
Isoparaffinic transformer oils are expertly created to help meet the world's growing energy demand. They provide high oxidation stability, resisting degradation for longer oil life, and contribute to reliable insulating performance. With exceptional flow properties at high and extremely low temperatures and low foaming tendency, the oils provide greater efficiency. They are lower in density, which means more volume per ton. To reduce the total weight, Shell Diala S5BD provides a readily biodegradable solution. Explore the Shell Diala range today.
Aceste uleiuri de transformator s-au reprezentat pentru ultimii 2 ani un produs cu dezvoltare explozivă în România. Deci, efectiv, au crescut exponențial achizițiile, mai ales la partenerii noștri Siemens, SGB Smith, Retrasib, Electroalfa, dar și alți producători naționali, gen Energobit. Iar principalul aspect pe care îl aduce nou în spectrul uleiurilor de transformator acest ulei este miscibilitatea și compatibilitatea cu toate uleiurile anterior folosite, parafinice sau naftenice, cu excepția uleiurilor noi de generație, ultima generație, uleiurile esterice, despre care vom vorbi probabil la o conferință viitoare, fiindcă Shell a achiziționat cea mai mare companie de producție uleiuri esterice, Midel. Cei care produc transformatoare știu despre ce este vorba.
Sunt curios să aflu și eu mai multe.
Următorul sector este unul destinat data center-lor, despre care am văzut că s-a vorbit aici astăzi, denumit generic immersion cooling. Ce este immersion cooling-ul? Haideți să vedem ca și tehnologie.
We're then coming to a crossroads where we're going to need something new, something different to help maintain and reduce that energy footprint.
Immersion cooling actually submerges the IT equipment in a liquid so that the liquid is coming in contact with the electronic equipment. And go, whoa, wouldn't there be sparks would be flying? Well, the liquid that we're using is a non-conductive fluid, and therefore that can touch the IT equipment and cool it directly.
Fluid immersion is where you have fewer mechanical moving parts, fewer electronics. Everything about it is simpler.
The real savings with immersion cooling is on the operational expenses and can essentially cut your cooling costs in half. It not only allows you to move to high-density applications that previously data centers would have a hard time cooling, but it can do so in a cost-effective way.
Instead of spreading out the electronics so that you can air cool it, you just pack them together because it's going to be cooled through this fluid. You can take what was going to take 100% of the space and put it in 10% of the space, and being able to reduce the electricity usage for cooling by 95%.
And this allows us, of course, to shrink down the entire data center size to only a fraction of what would be if you would run a data center with traditional air.
It provides a lot of things the other technologies cannot. Number one, it's very, very simple. We can eliminate all the engineering resources that go into these complex networks of plumbing within the server and within the rack and even within the data center. You have best-in-class power density coupled with best-in-class energy efficiency and dramatically simplified design. So those things should bode well for the technology in the future.
Personally, of course, it's very interesting, making potentially a big impact on the carbon footprint of data centers in the world. Not only something for our generation, but hopefully also for the next generation, so that we have more sustainable, more energy efficient data centers.
Așadar, immersion cooling-ul, care cuprinde de fapt două tipuri de tehnologie, direct cooling-ul, prin injecție directă a fluidelor către piesele critice ale unui server sau unei plăci de bază, dar și immersion cooling-ul total, caracterizat prin imersia plăcilor cu piese electronice în baie de ulei dielectric. Un fluid pe bază GTL, pe bază de ulei provenit din gaz, care face redundantă folosirea ventilatoarelor pentru răcire într-un acest data center.
Tehnologia asta merge și pentru răcirea bateriilor, că vorbeam mai devreme.
Sigur că da, fiindcă acest avantaj de a reduce, sau două avantaje principale sunt odată reducerea footprint-ului, să zic așa, cu 90%, deci practic poți să condensezi mai multă putere de computing într-un spațiu mai mic, dar și a facturii de energie cu circa 30% pentru aceste data centere. Iar legat de răcirea bateriilor, mai vedem un filmuleț.
Nu spune că aveai deja pregătit. Ok.
Chrysler Electric is the technology leader for immersion-cooled batteries. The diversity of different real-world applications calls for a perfect matched thermal management fluid.
Shell has developed a specialized portfolio of fluids engineered specifically for all types of electric vehicles.
We reach outstanding cooling performance due to the perfect interplay between the Shell thermal fluid properties and the Chrysler cooling technology. Together, Shell and Chrysler Electric will take battery performance, safety, and durability to the next level. The Chrysler REX1 Rally Car is the perfect match for testing the lightweight thermal fluid under extreme demanding situations. The stability of the Shell fluid ensures a resilient battery performance.
These developments have taken place not just from the research in Shell laboratories, but also by working in close technical partnership with automotive and component manufacturers for more than 20 years.
As a result, the Shell thermal fluid is the best solution for direct battery cell cooling in any climate condition.
Shell's commitment is to work with our customers on a sector-by-sector basis to help devise and accelerate decarbonization pathways.
Chrysler batteries provide superior performance, ultra-fast charging capability, and exceptional cell lifetime for a sustainable future. The strategic alliance with Shell opens new opportunities for the Chrysler cutting-edge battery technology. Chrysler Electric. We drive the future.
Da, deci, după cum ați observat, răcirea activă a bateriilor cu lichid electric face posibilă folosirea lor în siguranță, deoarece acest fluid electric se comportă și ca un agent de stingere a incendiilor, pe lângă rolul cel important de a disipa căldura, mai ales căldura concentrată pe anumite celule supuse încălzirii excesive. Această tehnologie face posibilă și încărcarea de la 0 la 80% în mai puțin de 10 minute. Lucru foarte important, fiindcă acesta ne aduce un pic mai aproape de confortul utilizării unei mașini pe benzină la care faci plinul în 3 minute. Practic, cât bei o cafea, ți se încarcă și mașina.
Și cred că și pentru utility scale battery de asemenea e important, că poți să ai regimuri de funcționare mult mai
absolut, această tehnologie se poate aplica și BESS-urilor și văd că deja este implementată în la anumiți producători. Mulțumesc frumos!
Mulțumesc! Mulțumesc tuturor pentru că suntem foarte bine în timp. Nu știu câtă vreme mai avem pentru conversație. Probabil că 10 minute putem lua din prânz, din pauza de prânz. Dacă sunt comentarii sau întrebări, te rog, Nicușor, folosește microfonul. Și dumneavoastră, dacă vreți
o mică precizare. Tehnologia este excelentă. Noi deja o folosim. Asta o confirmăm pe bateriile de utility. bateria IC Couple 261 de kWh, deja folosim această tehnologie cu lichid cooling, ceea ce nu sunt sigur, nu știu sigur dacă folosim chiar acest tip de lichid și el, ca și brand. Dar cu siguranță tehnologia există, este deja implementată de la începutul anului la noi, ca și producători, și cred că asta va fi soluția pentru siguranță și, de ce nu, și pentru încărcarea cât mai rapidă a soluțiilor de stocare. Mulțumesc.
Sper. Any comments or questions? I will take this microphone, please.
Yes. My name is Cosmin. I would like to have a question for Mr. Taboga. We know that Fincantieri is famous for cruise ships more than ships for energy, but probably together with Vard, you cover very well that segment. So the question is how the energy transition or transformation changed your business for the last 5-10 years, and how you see the future? Will this even more change your business?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Of course, this is affecting strongly the business of Fincantieri. Fincantieri is being always ahead in this kind of systems. You mentioned correctly, in the sense that the business of Fincantieri mainly, generally speaking, is connected to cruise vessels, not only cruise vessels, but we are also building part of cruise vessels here in Romania. And if you see now the developments that the Fincantieri itself made in the cruise vessels, those are aligned exactly to the approach that we were mentioning today. For instance, let's say, the propulsion systems are more and more, they will have for sure to be in line with the requirements of net zero IMO for 2050. And that means that all the propulsion systems are anyway chosen together with the owner, of course, prepared to switch to that technology. So ready for methanol, for gas. Many ships, the most recent ships were built with gas engines as well, so to burn gas. And of course, other alternative fuels are, let's say, studied. But this is made together with the partners which are making the propulsion system. I have to say I am a bit skilled also on that, because in the past I was working in Wärtsilä, which make engines, and we know also that part. So let's say there are a lot of different questions for the future. Oh, thank you, Federico. So we don't have in front of us a kind of clear path on that. There are different possibilities also for the propulsion of the ships. It's a kind of game in which the owners themselves and also the producers themselves are looking to the market and vice versa. There are possibilities, for instance, for ammonia, there are possibilities to utilize also hydrogen. Pasquale was mentioning before that that is a technology that, of course, Fincantieri is pioneering. There are possibilities for other vessels, not for cruise, for fuel cells, for instance. And those ones are for the propulsion side. Moreover, there are some other strategies which are connected to the, how can I say, to the brain of the cruise itself. Most of the, let's say, the big impact on the emissions and big impact of the consumption of the cruise vessels, but not only, also in merchant, are in waiting time, and then also, let's say, part of an efficient transportation process. And this digitalization in that perspective can help a lot. So, for instance, Fincantieri has developed also a concept that is now will be also implemented in the ships themselves, that is the Navis Sapiens. It's a kind of brain of the vessel itself. that is, let's say, not supposed, it is already doing in the prototype, but of course all the communities and all the ports should be ready, is a system that can communicate with the port harbors to calculate the best path, the best route for the vessels themselves, avoiding waiting times, reducing for instance, the workload, the regime of the engines when needed, so that to avoid making more emissions and also consumption. And but this is something that should be taken, how can I say, the system is there on the ship, but it needs to be taken together with the harbors and with the destination. There are two examples, very good examples of that are already basically working. The port of Singapore is already able to do this kind of interconnections. And let's say that if you put all of this together, we are going in that direction.
Thank you, Claudio, for your answer. I have two questions.
Okay.
One, and maybe with the short version of the answer to Federico. How does a big industrial player cope with this volatility in the energy prices? This is not a crisis at the moment. We have already 4 years, at least, of this kind of situation. What kind of approaches do you take already in this respect? And then I'll move to Atılay.
Sorry, your question is more focused on the manufacturing part?
Yes.
Yes.
How do you cope with your own needs for energy?
I think that from this point of view, we are acting as we don't have a special ingredient, no. So but several activities have been done, and we see the results, no. In terms of energy reduction. First of all, we understood that we have a lot of opportunities. And then when we saw, especially starting some years ago, the energy cost increase, we start to go more in depth, and we have all, I think, opportunities. Some example could be different, like photovoltaic panel, that is something, but also analyzing our consumption energy, our waste. I could make some example. For example, we are using our energy of the air compressor to heat our shop floor. So there are in the plant we not switch on even during winter. The heating using only the hot air, the energy from the air compressor. No, so isolation, optimization, monitoring of the temperature, optimization of the temperature for the heating. These are some examples, or sure, that we implement.
Not enough time now, but I'm interested also in your policy in dealing with the traders, maybe PPAs, something like that. But I'll move now to the representative of WeCo. You mentioned something about the manufacturing unit that you are enlarging at the moment. Tell us a little bit more about this.
I said that we completed, in fact, the construction of the factory with 5 gigawatt hour per year capacity. It will start manufacturing in 2 months' time, and we will be manufacturing utility scale container type solutions as well as CNI scale cabinet type solutions. We have also R&D for the residential solutions as well. We will be manufacturing DC solutions, but we need to, couple them with the AC to be used in the grid as well. And we have flexibility on the AC side because we have partnered with a couple of tier 1 manufacturers. And based on the project location, project requirement, we choose the AC solution according to the customer needs.
How do you stay with the orders at the moment? How long will it take? What's your estimation before selling all the production or operating at full capacity?
Well, it depends on the project size. For example, for the one that I mentioned during my speech, the one project in Azerbaijan with 500 megawatt hour capacity, the project time is 1 year. starting from the contract signature up to the commissioning. But for the project, for example, with the 10 megawatt hour size, it can be scaled down to 6 months, start from the initial stage up to the commissioning. So it depends on the project size as well. But the manufacturing itself, manufacturing of the containers does not exceed like 2-3 months time. So maximum in 2 to 3 months, you can easily manufacture the containers, but the remaining parts like the PCS, transformers, medium voltage cabinets also takes time. Also the commissioning will take some time. So it depends on the project size.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we are ready to close this session. Pasquale, if you want to add something, or any of you on the stage, maybe.
I was just wondering,
please.
Now it's late, but I was asking to Marco, but also to the other speakers. One question, because I see a lot speaking about batteries, no? And I'm not an expert in batteries, strictly in batteries, but I know that most of the components comes from rare earths, and so conflicts and tensions are not unforeseeable black swans, let's say, okay? It's something that is predictable. And also all the discussion that we held today must start from this point in order to avoid a situation like when started the war in Ukraine with the high prices on the market that we saw regarding energy and components and on. How do you see, on your experience, the fact that one of the major stakeholder of this chain for the battery comes from an area which is always in tension, let's say, political situation with the part of the world that uses and is a market for the final good?
Okay, thank you for the question. That is a very interesting topic. So we see across the world a concentration of manufacturers of batteries in a specific geographic area. This is due to government investment in this kind of sector, and this is something that we probably lack here in Europe. What we can see in the coming years is that the trend of concentration will probably continue like that, but we have an opportunity here in Europe. Europe is a destination of a good part of this production, and we have the possibility to utilize the exhausted batteries by recycling the batteries themselves. And this could be our future mine of lithium. So, of course, lithium is not extracted in Europe. It's only coming from specific countries. But we could have our own mine of lithium, which could be the exhaust batteries. So in this sense, WeCo is investing in Italy in a recycling plant to be able to recover the raw materials from the batteries. And that is a very interesting opportunity that we are exploring. So we are a European-based company. We are here to stay. The European norms imposes to the importers of batteries in Europe to take care also of the recycling, end of life of the batteries. Currently, this is a pure cost. So as anyone else operating in this sector, whenever we get that battery, we have to scrape it because there is not enough recycling capabilities here in Europe. So to make this cost become an opportunity requires investment. And this is what we are doing here now in Italy. We have started a recycling process based on the industrial research in cooperation with an Italian university. We have industrialized this process, and now we are implementing a recycling facility in Italy, in Florence, where we are based, to be able to recover those materials. And that could be an opportunity to free up a little bit of resources to make the start of a possible production of batteries in Europe. And this is one of the paths that we are exploring.
Great. It's the answer that we all were looking for, to have our own mining for lithium in Europe and getting rid of the waste at the same time. If no other intervention, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. It was very informative, And a lot of questions arise for the next opportunity to discuss, maybe even now, during the lunch, for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then back for the last session of the day. Thank you.